All right, let's dive into Bret Easton Ellis's American Psycho, but we're not actually going to crack open the book. We're going through Goodreads reviews.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, and we're going to explore this controversial book through all these seriously diverse perspectives.
You know, it's amazing how a book like this, even decades later, can still like really get under people's skin.
Right.
And I think by looking at the reviews, we can kind of see why it's had such an impact.
Well, yeah.
And why it keeps causing all this debate,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for anyone who hasn't read American Psycho or, maybe needs a refresher,
Yeah.
is about Patrick Bateman. He's this Wall Street hotshot living it up in 1980s New York City, right? But behind that expensive suit and the perfect hair, Bateman's got a dark secret.
Ooh.
He's a psychopath.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how many reviewers focus on this contrast between Bateman's his outer image and his inner darkness.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it really gets to the heart of what makes American Psycho so disturbing. It's not your typical horror story with like a clear-cut monster.
Right.
Bateman is like right in the middle of this world we all recognize.
Yeah.
Corporate greed, status anxiety,
Totally.
that constant need to consume. And he's obsessed with how he looks.
Oh, yeah.
Meticulously describing, every designer label.
Oh, for sure.
Every fancy restaurant.
Every bit of tech, it's all got to be trendy.
Exactly.
And don't even get me started on the business card obsession.
Oh, my God, yes.
You get the sense that for Bateman, these brands are more than just things, It's like they're how he builds his identity. He's projecting this image of success and power. But it's kind of crazy how that obsession with surfaces actually lets him blend in.
Right.
It hides who he really is.
It's like he's hiding in plain sight.
Exactly. One reviewer, Sean Bars, he said that Bateman's obsession with appearances, it lets him hide in plain sight because people are so caught up in the surface that they don't see the monster underneath.
Exactly.
And then Bateman himself even says, all it comes down to is this: I feel like shit, but look great.
Ugh, that's so Bateman.
Right. That really sums up his messed up view of the world, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
But it also makes you think, how much do we do that today? Yeah. Rely on appearances to judge people.
I think that's one of the reasons American Psycho is still so relevant.
Totally.
It's holding up this mirror to our own obsession with image and status. Mm-hmm. And it's asking us, what are the consequences of valuing style over substance?
Right.
Yeah.
And, we can't talk about American Psycho without talking about the violence.
Right.
And the reviews. Oh, they're all over the place about this. Oh, yeah. Some people, they think it's just way too much.
Too graphic, too gratuitous.
Exactly. Gratuitous. Steven, one reviewer, thought all that graphic detail was, unnecessary. And that it took away from the book's message.
But then you have other reviewers, like Brian and Emily May, who say that the violence is, super important to the satire.
Oh.
For them, it's Ellis's way of confronting us with just how ugly Bateman's world is.
Right.
This world that, ignores the suffering of others.
Turns a blind eye.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's almost like Ellis is trying to, get a reaction out of us.
Provoke us.
Yeah, make us look at that dark side of human nature that we don't want to acknowledge.
Confront it head on.
Yeah. And it's not just how much violence there is.
Right.
It's also who Bateman targets.
Ooh, yeah.
A lot of reviewers bring up the whole misogyny thing.
That's a big one?
Yeah, arguing that most of Bateman's victims are women.
Yeah. Reviewers like Laurel and Paul Bryant, they think that focus on female victims is, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And it could even reinforce some really bad stereotypes.
Right. It's a reflection of a patriarchal society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That doesn't value women.
Treats them like objects.
Exactly.
But then other reviewers, they push back on that.
Oh, interesting.
Emily May, Karen, Daniel Martin, they say, hey, hold on. Bateman kills men too, and that his violence, it's more about his psychopathy, not specifically hating women.
Right.
They're saying that to just look at it through the lens of misogyny is way too simple.
Simplifying things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can complicate.
It is, and the book doesn't give us any easy answers. And that whole Ambiguity is made even more complicated because Bateman is what we call an unreliable narrator.
You never know what's real.
Right. Like, is it actually happening or is it all in his head?
It's all messed up.
Totally.
Several reviewers, like Blair and Mariva,
yeah.
they point out that this unreliable narration, like, it adds a whole other layer to the book.
It's like this whole other puzzle on top of the puzzle.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't trust anything he says, so you're always questioning everything.
Second guessing.
Yeah. And that is...
unsettling, to say the least.
Unsettling.
It really is.
Very unsettling.
Yeah.
It's like trying to solve a puzzle where you're missing pieces.
And the pieces you do have might be from a totally different puzzle.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Ellis does this on purpose.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
To keep us on edge.
Keeps us guessing.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really interesting.
Ooh, tell me more.
Like this blurring of reality, this not knowing what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
That's a big part of why it works as social commentary.
Oh, I see.
It's like he's saying that the monstrous and the normal can exist together.
Side by side.
Yeah, even in a world that seems all civilized and stuff.
It's like he's saying, look closer, folks. The things that scare you might be closer than you think.
Ooh, that's good. And that's what we're going to get into next. How does this unreliable narration, this blurring between real and fake, how does it all play into the book's critique of 1980s America?
Right.
And what makes that critique still matter today?
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's dig in.
All right.
Okay, so we were talking about Patrick Bateman being an unreliable narrator.
Right.
Which, like, really adds to that creepy feeling you get from the book.
Really?
But it also lets Ellis, the author, make this bigger point.
Oh, okay.
About the society Bateman's living in.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we don't know what Bateman's saying is true, then how can we be sure about anything happening in this world?
It's like the whole system's built on lies and fake stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of reviewers picked up on that.
Okay.
They saw American Psycho as satire of 1980s America.
Oh, interesting.
Like, especially all that excess and emptiness of the yuppie culture back then.
Right. It's like not just a horror story. It's a...
It's social commentary.
Yeah, disguised as horror.
Exactly.
And that's what makes it so cool. Like, it makes you think about how Bateman's psychopathy connects to the values of that society.
Right. Like one reviewer, Stephen, he called the book this... visceral, disturbingly dark portrait of the 1980s.
Oh.
Yeah, a time when people were, you know, becoming more and more detached.
Each other?
Yeah, from society. And less and less able to, you know...
Feel for anyone.
Yeah, feel anything for anyone else.
And that's Bateman to a T, isn't it?
It is.
Like, no empathy.
Totally detached.
Surrounded by people, but totally alone.
Alone in a crowd?
Yeah, like... unable to connect.
Any real level.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the satire, it really hits hard.
It does.
Reviewers like Laurel, Johan, Jeffrey Keaton, and Vicky Herbert, they see Bateman as this symbol
of the American dream gone bad.
Yeah. He's got all the money and success.
But no soul.
He's lost his soul.
Exactly.
It's like a warning, you know, about chasing wealth and status, but forgetting about like morality.
And connection.
Yeah, human connection.
It's empty.
Yeah.
Johan even makes this connection between Bateman and Donald Trump.
Oh, wow.
Who even back then was like this symbol of wealth and ambition.
Right.
So it makes you wonder if Ellis was trying to warn us.
Ooh, that's a scary thought.
It is, especially since those same values, you know.
They're still around.
They're even bigger now.
Yeah, it's like maybe American Psycho isn't just about the 80s. Maybe it's about something like...
deeper.
Yeah, something deeper.
For human nature.
Yeah, like more timeless.
Exactly.
Which brings us back to why people are still so fascinated by this book.
And repulsed.
Yeah. Like, what is it about American Psycho?
Decades later.
Yeah, that still grabs us.
Well, when you look at the reviews, like, it's clear that it's not a book that leaves people feeling, you know.
No strong feelings.
No, not at all. There are a lot of strong reactions.
Yeah.
Like disgust, boredom, but also amusement, and even like a weird kind of admiration.
Oh, wow.
Like some people, like Debbie, actually found the book funny.
Really?
Yeah, like darkly funny.
Oh, okay.
Because of the satire.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah. But then others like Stacia and Warwick.
Okay.
They were just like totally grossed out by it.
Understandable.
Yeah, all the violence and depravity, it was just too much for them.
Yeah.
And then you have reviewers like Ben Winch, who say the book is damn near loveless.
Wow.
And that the violence is just like pointless and over the top.
It's almost like the book wants to make you react strongly.
It does. That's the point.
Yeah, whether you love it or hate it.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to feel something.
Exactly. And even those who found it disturbing,
Yeah.
they couldn't deny how powerful it was. Like Rachel, for example, she called it one of the most messed up horror thriller novels she'd ever read.
Oh, wow.
But she also admitted it was, like, a tough read.
Yeah.
It sticks with you.
Definitely.
And then there's the ending.
Oh, don't even get me started on the ending.
Right. It's so ambiguous.
Yeah.
And unsettling.
Like, did any of it really happen?
Is it all in his head?
We're left with so many questions.
And no answers.
It's frustrating.
But that's intentional,
Yeah.
Ellis isn't giving us easy answers.
Right.
He's making us think about the possibility that in a world obsessed with appearances, evil can just, like, hide in plain sight.
And get away with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a scary thought.
That sticks with you.
It lingers.
Long after you finish the book.
And I think that's why American Psycho is still so relevant today, because it makes us confront some uncomfortable truths.
About ourselves.
Yeah, about ourselves and the world we live in.
The world we've created.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the violence and the satire and that whole unreliable narrator thing.
Yeah, all the fun stuff.
Haha, exactly. But what does it all actually mean?
Right.
Like, why are we still talking about American Psycho after all these years?
Well, I think it's because the book, it kind of digs into this, like, really unsettling part of being human.
Okay.
This potential for darkness.
Yeah.
Even in people who look super successful and put together on the outside.
Ooh,
it's like, what's lurking beneath the surface.
Right.
And what happens when we go after wealth and status so much that we lose our humanity.
Yeah, it's like looking in a funhouse mirror.
Kind of.
We see ourselves in, like, our own desires and anxieties, but they're all twisted and exaggerated.
Yeah, it's like Bateman's this grotesque reflection of us.
Exactly. Like, it's both fascinating and kind of gross at the same time.
It is, and that's what makes it such a powerful commentary on society.
Right, because it's not just about this one crazy guy.
Yeah, it's about the whole system that, like, allows that behavior.
And maybe even encourages it.
Yeah, rewards it.
Ooh, that's a good point.
It makes us think about how much we're a part of this culture of greed and
being fake.
Yeah, and not caring about other people.
Like, how much are we willing to give up just to be rich and successful?
Right, and maybe American Psycho isn't just about the 80s.
Oh.
Maybe it's a warning for us now.
That's kind of scary.
It is, especially when you think about how obsessed we still are with status and money.
And social media makes it even worse, right?
Totally. Like, everyone's presenting this perfect version of themselves.
It's all fake.
So are we any less likely to end up like Bateman?
Empty and alone.
Exactly. And that's something I want you to think about.
Okay.
Like, how does American Psycho hit you?
Yeah, what does it make you think about your own life,
About what you value, what's important to you.
Yeah, does it make you look at the world differently?
Hopefully in a new way.
We'd love to hear your thoughts. This book, it definitely sticks with you.
It gets under your skin.
Big time. It starts conversations, makes you question things.
And yourself.
Yeah, and the world. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into American Psycho.
Yeah.